they have a letter of the Marquis, and what that is, a letter of a Marquis and reprisal. A reprisal was a government license in the Age of Sail that authorized a private person known as a privateer or corsair to attack and capture vessels of a nation at war with the issuer. Once captured, the privateers could then bring the case of that prize before their own admiralty court for condemnation and transfer of ownership to the privateer. A letter of marque and reprisal would include permission to cross an international border to conduct a reprisal, take some action against an attack or an injury, and was authorized by an issuing jurisdiction to conduct reprisal operation outside its borders.
Basically, like, condoned piracy on other people.
Condoned piracy on other people due to an action against somebody else.
Okay.
An action against. So it gave them, like, legal protection. Like, I'm able to do this.
Yeah, like Rome saying, you attacked us, so we're invading you in response, kind of thing.
Right, exactly. And the thing is, as long as you follow the terms of the marquee, then you are protected, and you cannot be persecuted for that. So you probably believe that that's going to be one thing that Hilda might use in the defense for something like this. But you're not technically supposed to kill anyone, I guess, unless things escalate, like if there's resistance. So there's that aspect of it. You will learn that what was there? I'm sorry. What was the value of your roll again?
16.
16. Okay. You will learn that Guinness had approached Mr. Felhausen. The thing is, Felhausen doesn't remember a lot of this because his memory is very spotty, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
Approached Felhausen because they wanted to have him return stolen property. He had allegedly stolen property from some individual. And so she came to collect, and you can presume what happened, because I don't think the investigation will give you any further details. But that was the reason why she did what she did. You could presume that things escalated, which ultimately led to the death of Felhausen. Maybe it was an accident. Who knows? I'll leave that up to you in your investigations. And all that good stuff. You also know that normally these letter of marques happen during states of war. Technically, we're not in a state of war. So you could probably use that as an argument.
Okay. That
for yourself.
Would be no real way to enact a marquee without previous existing conflict.
True. But, again, in this case, exceptions could possibly be made. Okay. Hilda could possibly be made, especially if it came from the Queen's office. If it was made in order to, do this reprisal for things that were done against the client of the Winters,
okay,
of Guinness. Sorry, that's a bit of a data dump, but...
So, Russo, you had a case you have to solve?
Yep, and they've upped the date on it.
Man, it sounds like you'll probably need some aides to do some footwork for you.
Gonna need a lot of aides.
Some footwork, yeah. Or some footwork.
Well, Russo, if you need some assistance, I'm actually around. So,
I'm used to looking over dusty tomes. I could help you find some legal precedent.
I've had quite a lot of experience in aiding others.
Okay. Well, first things first, we should probably split into two teams to cover the ground that I need to in such a short time frame. I thought I was going to at least get a week back, then, dragons appeared.
We can table that off. Once we're done with all this, we can then continue on our search. This one takes precedence.
It's only 2 days, so...
Yeah.
What do you need?
Alright. whoever's more research savvy, I know that they're going with the Marquis defense, so I need someone to research into the terms of the last handful of Marquis approved.
I can do that.
You'd need to get a request from the legal ministry down on South Street that sits right at the High Council of the Navarran Embassy. And that should grant you access to the library and historical records involving anything that would have transpired through there. And I'm gonna say for the sake of time, I'm gonna have a note in common, like you'll be able to find this stuff in like this branch of the library.
Oh, okay.
Maybe there's also like a letter of introduction or something, so they know it's a lawyer's aides doing it.
Yeah. So I'd say 2 of us go that, then I need some other people because I've got to meet some old friends that I really didn't want to have to meet, and then we have Mr. Rainier to interview if he's back home.
What was this case again? What was the prior issue? Attempted murder?
I'll come clean, it's more of a practical murder, just given the situation. The only way that I could really push it would be attempted.
Oh, your client's like... And then he points to Manfred.
I'm just gonna very slowly nod.
Oh. That's a situation.
So
Yeah,
he
what we could-
died and got better. Ugh.
Got better.
Not
So...
my accent.
No, it's Monty Python.
Oh shit.
Realization.
So I guess technically, in a roundabout manner, I am, but...
Well,
And then we have to talk to Audric himself before the trial and have him prepped and ready. He's been unresponsive. I need him to be on point when we get there.
Out of character, have you put Audric under any sort of protection?
I
thought you mentioned that
like I
too.
would have put him under protection out of fear of the winters coming after him.
Right.
So he would have been
Again. Mm-hmm.
held at like the jailhouse or like a neutral property where they really couldn't get to him.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
What legal protections does a dead man have?
Well, they don't know that he's dead.
Oh.
you're lying as the form of attempted murder instead of using actual murder. Otherwise, they would drop the case if he was murdered and came back from the dead.
It wouldn't get the priority it would have otherwise, and it would have made relations with the family a lot more messy. I'd have to get them pressing the lawsuits instead of Audric.
Well,
Well, I can assist you with your contacts, I suppose. I'm not the most studious or good with people.
Well, just be ready to go if things get bad with these people.
Then yes, I can help.
I would say Leon's probably gonna need at least one person with him to help him with research and checking in on Audric.
I'll do that. I have enough. I have researched quite a couple of things here and there, so I'll help him out with research.
Out of character. Yeah, send the two healers off to the non-combat.
I was gonna
situation.
say, like, maybe possible. Okay.
That, or I can come with you to handle whatever situation. Either or, it does not matter. So
I'll go wherever I'm most useful. Although I do admit I don't think I'd be. I can do what I'm told to do, but
How about we take this to my residence and we'll form better teams, and that way we can set up a situation for Balin.
well,
yeah.
here's my odd suggestion. What if we do the contact meeting? If you think it's dangerous, we all go there instead of just some of us. Make sure you're more safe.
The only thing that concerns me is that trust is very much needed. And if I show up with a whole band of us...
You don't have to show up by yourself. All you need is a couple of people with you, maybe a couple of people on the sides. You don't have to be there.
I can hang back too, Nathan says. I can even watch Balin for if you'd like. I'm okay with kids, I think.
Would you be okay with staying with Nathan at the house, Balin?
Oh yeah, I can show him my toys.
Oh, good. I'm gonna turn to Nathan. He has a lot of toys.
I'll show you my hammer. Because Balin has like his own like hammer, very similar to Daddy's hammer, but smaller. Like it's made of wood. It's made of like light wood.
Okay, we'll go to my house, pick up my dossier, and we'll go from there.
Alright.
Yeah, you'll go over to Russo's house. Describe what your house is like.
It's like slightly lower than middle class, obviously, because Russo's the only one providing for the both of them. It's pretty much like there's only 2 bedrooms, one for Balin, one for him, then a small living area, like a closet that Russo has like made it into his office, and then like a little half kitchen.
Yeah, when you arrive, you're gonna hear Balin say, "We're home! Come, Nathan, I'll show you my room." And he's just gonna take a hold of Nathan's hand, and Nathan will say, "All right, let me take a look at this hammer that you said you have." And he'll take him to his room.
Okay, I'm gonna open up the door of my office. It's a little cramped, so I don't know if everyone's gonna fit, but it's where I work out of.
You're going to enter into your office. Roll us. I'm gonna say Russo. Roll us. Well, everyone do a perception spot. Everyone. This is gonna be much higher.
Seeing.
Seeing.
Can I argue I have advantage because I'm in this place quite often?
Yes, you get advantage. Yes.
10 for me.
12.
10 for me.
11.
16.
So I'm gonna say that Russo is the only one who notices that when you enter your office, at first glance everything seems to be in order, but something's off. It's like you're pretty like certain things that you're pretty sure you have your desk in a certain way. I presume that you have your desk organized in a certain way, but certain things seem a little bit out of place, like they were moved around your office. Like certain files are not in the right place, certain documents are not in the right position, things like that.
Someone's been here.
Oh boy, do you think they're trying to sabotage your case?
That should be a very straightforward guess, Leon.
I like to check the lock of the door. Does it seem to be tempered?
Sure.
Does it seem to be tempered?
Yeah, roll a lockpicking skill.
Okay, sweet. That'll actually be helpful for me. So, just straight dexterity, unfortunately. Alright. 15. If that fails, I have the special thievery ability where if I fail a dexterity lockpicking roll, I can re-roll it. But I have to keep the second one.
Okay.
But that's 15.
I'm gonna say that 15 is high enough. You will notice that, it looks like the lock had been tampered with, and whoever did it did a pretty shoddy job, because they did leave like scratch marks around. So whoever it was is not really all that great at picking locks.
So everyone sees Tyrion kind of get down on his knees, he checks the locks, and say, "Well, Russo's right, someone tampered the lock here. Whoever did this though is an amateur, doesn't know how to pick a lock, damn."
So they probably didn't find the dossier. I'm gonna go to the desk, then do like a whole bunch of different knocks and stuff, so like a little door like pops out the side.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that you'll do that, and you will find your dossier in there, safe.
Whew. And then I'm gonna open it up and just as like a general thing, if anyone else is looking at it, I very deliberately wrote it in this Garfunkel of both Navarin and Elven, so it's very hard to decipher.
Ooh, clever.
Very
Nice,
smart. Very
nice.
clever. Very smart.
I mean, I can't speak either, so I just kind of look over and go, cool.
Then I'm also gonna grab a couple other like small supplies that have like no real value, like a sheet of paper with a couple addresses on it.
Everyone roll spot. Seeing again. Russo, you get an advantage as well.
15.
I don't see anything.
Wait, where's mine?
13.
13.
10.
11 was what you got, Tommy.
Yeah, with advantage.
Who got the highest? 15.
15, yes, me.
Okay, Tyrion. Wow, you're very like observant
You're
right
on
now.
fire.
So that panel, so it's a hollowed out panel, right?
Yeah.
That like a hidden compartment. So when Russo opens the compartment, you notice that there's a tiny little crack on the panel that opens, like a tiny crack. But I don't know if you would necessarily be able to tell if that crack's always been there or if it's new.
Russo, your compartment there has a crack. Has it been always there? Or is it new?
No, it's not.
Then it's there now. So someone...
Is the information there, Russo?
I'm gonna do a check of like all the files and folders.
It doesn't seem like there's anything missing. There doesn't seem to be anything missing.
Did they maybe take a copy?
They could have. They would have had the time.
So what you're saying is all your legal arguments probably have counters at this current juncture in time.
Most likely, yes.
That and all the information that you know might be, as far as we know, being taken care of as we speak.
Yep. So time's now even more of the essence.
So should we go confront these folk first then? Because they may send folk after your witnesses and try to...
I made a very deliberate point not to mention Mr. Rainier's name.
But at least in Navarran legal system, don't the accused have the right to face their accusers? They already know his name? Or is that not?
I'd say realistically they would if I've already turned in documents, because both parties, and at least most court cases dating back to like the early 1800s, both parties had to exchange beforehand.
But Mr. Rainier wasn't the victim.
Wasn't the victim. He was a witness.
Yeah.
He was a witness.
And he hasn't given permission to be a witness yet, because I wasn't able to talk to him, so his name would have been unnecessary.
Would not have been right.
So what's our next step then?
Well, the first things first is the contacts definitely have to take priority in case the Winters have bribed them or gotten even further at this point. Then we need to check the marquees. And then Mr. Rainier will be of the essence, and if we get time, we need to get Audric ready.
If that's the case, then I think splitting up would probably be the best option. It would be the most expedient.
Well, I have to be at the contact meeting. If I'm not there, the whole thing's blown. I'd say Leon's very studious, and I'd want to at least keep one medic on hand in case of things.
Pasha's very good at talking with people.
So I would say, Datham, would you accompany Leon to the archives and inspecting Mr. Rainier? Well, not Rainier, Audric. And then we'll do the contacts, then we'll meet back up at Mr. Rainier's residence.
If that's what you wish.
Okay. I'm gonna stuff everything, then I'm also knowing that we're probably gonna be on the move after this whole case is settled. I'm gonna grab some other key items. One specifically, which this is in my inventory, is gonna be a very special looking two-handed sword off the wall that I'm just gonna rebelt. And then I'm gonna grab a couple of portraits off the table, then a ring, well, a necklace with a ring on it, and stuff it in my pocket.
So, Darlian, right? It's Darlian are going. Okay, Darlian is going to the libraries? Or the archives, rather?
Yep.
Because you're trying to find research on marquees that have been
Approved.
approved recently, for the purposes of just finding out what the terms were and things like that.
Yeah, so that
Is
way I
my
know what
understanding?
specific thing to argue around.
Okay. So, on your way there, without anyone around, you will hear a voice from the pouch going, "Psst, Leon. Psst. I'm being very discreet right now.
He's going
I
to
can
sort of
hear you, Pyrus.
There aren't anyone around. Nobody can hear this conversation, except for you."
gonna sort of step off into an alley and be like, "What do you want?"
You know, we can easily make this an open and shut case.
Let me guess, by sacrificing him to the blood gods.
No. Not sacrificing him to the blood gods.
Reading his thoughts?
By coercing someone to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Okay. As in coercing them with blood magic, or
Ding, 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 ding! You are exactly right! This would be a perfect practical use. To help your dear friend. That's why you want to do this, right? To help people?
But
Help an innocent man? Supposedly innocent?
but isn't that morally wrong by sort of forcing someone to do something?
Are you saying helping to bring justice is morally wrong?
Also, well, no, but
Leon,
is
are
it?
you okay?
Well, the book makes good arguments, but he's also crafty and schemy, so I'm sure there's something wrong.
Wait, what are you?
Me?
I wasn't listening.
Schemy?
He's saying that blood magic has some sort of way to ensure that someone tells the truth.
Yes! Didn't you listen to Darethim's handleless blade analogy? This is a handleless blade that you can use to help not just one person, several people.
And aren't they mass murderers? But also blood magic, and we're in a foreign land.
A foreign land that is very taboo in nature. So what's your point?
There's no necessarily obvious answer here, Leon. The intent is right. The method is not necessarily wrong.
Thank you!
Are you sure that I could perform it and get away with it?
But its effectiveness and its legality is definitely up in the air.
Maybe we should research that as well, because we'll be in the legal documents.
True enough.
Oh, and I suppose Russo himself has not been a little under the table either with his methods. He said so himself that this Audric Felhausen is actually dead, yet he fails to bring that up to the courts.
But isn't attempted murder isn't murder also include attempted murder? Just in it?
Yes, but he is being tried for attempted murder, not actual murder.
Yeah, but it's like...
Mostly because it'll be easier for him to be able to win his case. So I'm saying this is an easier way to win this case.
But not necessarily a legal way.
Can't argue with the results.
Oh man, do you think that I could perform it successfully and get away with it?
Well, you've been practicing for the last several days, so...
Oh man, I don't know if I want to make my big debut in front of a whole bunch of witnesses.
You don't have to do it right in the courtroom. You could do it just prior to.
Leon, this is up to you.
Oh man.
I don't know what the right answer is, but... Yes, we're looking for justice for Audric. But keep in mind your own self-preservation.
Yeah, it'd be a little hard if I botch this to, continue adventuring.
What are the benefits to you and us in comparison to the downsides or the consequences?
This is true. We should really look at the legal precedent and see if we can find anything about this.
Well then, let's get off.
All right. You guys will go to the archives. You will show your paperwork, and they will allow you to start perusing through the documents. So, I will have you all roll. Is there like a roll that we could use for like research?
There's an
or-
investigation.
It's literally a research
Civics.
reference.
There's a cunning research roll.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You can use that.
Question: could we roll separate? Are we rolling separately, or are we like assisting the other?
I think you could roll separately. I think you can cover more ground
All right.
that way.
Well, let's see what we get. All right, and that's a +1, so it's 17.
17. Okay. So, historically, as I had mentioned out of character, these letters of marque have predominantly been written during times of war. As of late, though, since the Queen had come to power, that policy sort of has become a little more lax, and now letters of marque have been made a little bit more often since then, providing protection, again, to right wrongs amongst the citizens of Navarra, as long as it is a wrong that was done by a citizen to a citizen. Like, that's where that jurisdiction remains, so you have to stay within that box in order to
So these specific
maintain
ones
protection.
can't deal with any foreign situation.
Correct. Because that's a little bit of a stretch, because if they were to like say, hey, you know, this person stole something from, like, this Navarran citizen stole something or had something stolen by someone in Tevinter, and then they, like, Tevinter has their own jurisdiction.
Mhm.
Like, you can't.
It's
you
two
can't
separate
mix-
systems of laws that have
It's
to
two
collide.
separate. Correct. That's have to collide. So they have more control within this.
Yes, it's just like
their
state
own
laws
city.
kind of thing. Yeah.
State laws. Yes, exactly. So, in addition to that, the vast majority, you will learn, of these marquees have been stamped and approved from the Queen's office. Like I said, not from the Queen herself, but probably someone that like helps assist the Queen in these sort of matters.
Could we see which specific official?
Yes. What were your rolls? Your research roll?
17 and 13.
Who got the 17?
Me.
Dartham, you will discover that recently, as of the last couple of months, the person that has been stamping and approving a lot of these marquees is the Queen's attendant, Manfred.
Oh. Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
how?
Oh.
Huh.
And then the next question is, when using their marquee defense, do they have to state what reparations they're trying to come up with?
Yes, they have to be able to approach the person. They didn't specify it had to be at their house, nothing like that. But they had to approach the person, they had to present to them the marquee to show them what the allegations are, like what the
Okay.
charges are, and what exactly they did, what wrong that they did, and against whom. And then they are given orders to do whatever it is to repair.
It's like a
this-
warrant kind of thing.
Kind of, yes. To fix whatever method. It normally isn't, we will fix this method by killing you. It's normally you have to do such and such a task, and then everything will be right with the world. Like, all is forgiven if you do this such and such and such. And normally they have to give them like a timeline, like within 30 days is like a reasonable timeline. I think the minimum would be like a week's notice, but by default it should be like 2 weeks to 30 days to accomplish whatever it is you're supposed to accomplish to for reparation.
Do they have to also approach with a law officer, or can they just approach by themselves?
They can just approach by themselves, as long as, again, they are given a permission from this marquis. And it has to be approved, like, it has to be, the marquis cannot just be given to, like, some random citizen. It has to be through, like, an approved, like, organization, like a mercenary group. You know, that has
Another entity that has some legality to it.
some legality and actually has experience dealing with conflict, I guess,
It's
and
like
not just some
hiring
random
Pinkertons,
citizen.
essentially.
Correct. Yes. If the person refuse, then that's where things get a little bit muddy. Like, that's where things can be open to interpretation, that they can, you know, either, it depends on what the situation is. So, like, if somebody stole something, so in this case, you know, it was property that was stolen, they can be forced to have items removed from their property that have the same value or equal value of the thing that they stole if they cannot get back the thing that was stolen. Or it gets muddy as to whether or not there's more corporal forms of punishment. That's where it gets a little open to interpretation.
And say in that theft scenario, say for example let's say like a rich person wanted to build some new property, and they happen to take their own item, plant it on a building plot, and then give the marquis, but say that, no, I didn't steal this or whatever. Could the reparations, like the payment, be even something as great as like a property or something like that if it's of equal value?
Right, if there was, you would have to prove that it is of equal value.
Okay.
You'd have to somehow prove that.
Manfred seems to be a little suspicious.
And also we need to make sure what happened in the incident itself, because if Guinness did not present the marquis, then that's clearly a violation. Or if we have to see if Audric responded amicably, if he refused to answer, or like if he refused the assistance. So, because I mean, from what I remember out of character, I think it was just like a random ambush, which would definitely not constitute this situation.
So do you want to go say hello to Manfred?
Oh, do we want to research the... I mean, this is up to Leon. Do we want to research the blood magic legality?
Yeah, let's do that as well.
Okay, so you're trying to find out what with the blood magic legality?
If
like, just
someone
in
were
general?
to, say, use blood magic in a zone of truth scenario to kind of do a thing like that,
Yeah.
how would that work?
Yeah, so I think, correct me if anyone thinks I'm wrong, I feel like as taboo as Navarra is, I feel like blood magic is still not something that is generally
Yeah.
accepted
Plus,
in this
there's also
city.
the whole idea of like a confession under duress, or I forget the exact legal term, but it's
Yeah,
someone
Compelled.
can't be compelled.
so I think that because it's not socially accepted in Navarra, that they would not allow the use of blood magic in a like court situation, legal situation like this, because they don't want to be seen as a country that condones it,
Mhm.
I guess.
Yeah.
Like, because
They don't want to influence the mind. They want to keep it free.
right, they still are, even though their chantry has different customs from the traditional chantry, they're still part of the chantry, and the chantry itself is still very much against blood magic.
Yeah.
So
That, and it would also get subjective too, because they're under mind control.
Yeah, it's like that whole compelled confession, where
unless you want to make a very like global argument about how well the Templars use blood magic technically, you know.
well, they do.
So if the Templars use blood magic to, you know, ends justify the means, then why can't we use a zone of truth, ends justify the means either? So unless you want to go that route, I'm not sure if Russo is prepared to go that route with this, but he can.
We have Pasha here, so we probably shouldn't talk like that.
Not at all. Not at all.
Tell me more about this blood magic, Leon. Red.
I'm very curious. She pulls out her sewing kit. So,
And then I
yeah.
guess, yeah, we'll go to Manfred.
Well, before we shift over to Manfred, let's go over to the other group. So that's the other three?
Yep.
Is the other three in a group?
Yep.
And where are you guys going again?
We're going to a very dark and seedy place to meet some old, not-so-great people and get information.
And what information are you trying to get again?
Basically, what the Winters have been doing that set up the whole timeline. It's essentially I'm trying to get an outside informant that would know inside stuff.
What the Winters have been up to?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me another investigate then. Just Russo. I guess if the other two would like to assist, you're welcome to assist.
So glad I took this focus.
Yeah. I don't have investigate, so I don't know if I could be able to assist.
10,
Ooh,
14,
16, 18.
Nice.
So I doubt you need any help.
Yeah.
Then I know the parts. I've been in this before.
I love that Pasha's
I don't
also
care.
here, so she sees like her little boy going, "Wait, why is he doing criminal stuff?"
Yeah, so the Winters, for the most part, have been doing a lot of what they have, just your typical standard mercenary work and nothing really out of the ordinary as of late. However, within 18, they will mention that the Winters, particularly Guinness, has been spotted in like the corners of the seedy tavern that you maybe go to. They have witnessed Guinness speaking with this two individuals, actually. Two individuals. One individual appears to be a duke that dressed up as some sort of duke, some sort of important person. The people that you were talking to, they don't really keep up with like all of the dukes that or high society people in the city because there are just too many of them. But clearly this person seems to be of very high class and have some sort of high authority. And this other individual who kept themselves like very shrouded, like they didn't get a very good look at the second person's face, but it was, you know, a little suspicious. And they did catch a sight of, you know, a coin purse of some sort being passed across the table towards Guinness's hands, like some sort of transaction was certainly made. Surprisingly, not from the wealthy-looking duke, but surprisingly the pouch came from the shady, shrouded person.
So no one remembers the name of the duke or which particular high person it was.
No.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I don't suppose they noticed any like distinguishing features about this duke, so that we could potentially narrow down the list.
The duke?
Yeah.
Yeah. They will give a physical description of the duke, and because of Pasha asking that question, I will allow Russo to make another investigation. Or no, not investigation. What would be
Hierarchy.
Is there like
Cunning hierarchy would be a good one.
Cunning hierarchy? Yeah, let's do cunning hierarchy.
I
That's a
think
good
it's
one.
hierarchy.
Heraldry.
Or heraldry.
Families.
Heraldry.
It could also be
Yeah,
I like the heraldry.
I like that.
cultural
That's
lore
the
or
one I was asking. Oh, that's cunning heraldry then. So yeah.
Cunning heraldry.
Okay.
13 with 6 sound points.
13. Okay. With how many sound points?
6.
6.
Okay. Yeah. So this Duke has the description of Duke Janus von Markham. Duke Janus von Markham. Now, the von Markham family is a noble family from Navarra. As a forming ruling royal house of Navarra, the von Markhams enjoy privileged status amongst the Navarran society, second only to the ruling. So they have a tendency to get what they want. I'm going to say that you don't know very much about this particular duke specifically, but they are very they tend to get away with a lot of things lawfully because they're so favored. They're such a favored house. They have a lot of power.
Also, real quick, Hark, for the Marquise, I forgot to ask this, but are they like just a privateer in the sense that anyone can get them, or is there like a specific family they're associated with? Like they're hired to a specific person, or is it just a free for all? To a specific person, or is it just like whoever wants to hire them?
Whoever wants to hire them.
Okay.
And again, as you can probably presume, marquises, you can't just most normal like middle class citizen can't just get a marquis because they are very expensive to have. So it's normally the upper class people. Certainly the Van Markham family would easily be able to get a marquis and have it approved.
Can I just ask, was the Duke's name Janice or Marcus?
Janice Van Markham.
Thank you.
Well, we have a name at least.
And then the people I'm meeting with, could I inquire further about the shady figure? Being like, did he have this on him and pull up that sword with like the special hilt?
A sword with a special hilt?
Like the two-handed sword that I grabbed off of there. Out of my office. I had it in my inventory the whole time. This is going back to the backstory stuff.
Oh, you found a sword, if I remember right.
They will say no, actually.
Okay. Well, we've got a little bit more time before we have to meet up at the Rainier residence.
Yep. We have a name at least now. Just Duke Janice
The
von
question is,
Markham.
how are we going to get entrance to the Markham estate?
Well, how do you want to do this? Legally or illegally? Is the question. And how badly?
We could just march up to the front door and demand they give us entrance.
I doubt that they'll give us that. If there's a prestigious family, they sound like the types who will not accept that.
You haven't seen me determined.
But I think determined you would be kicking down the front door and just demanding everything. But not saying it's bad.
How good are you at being inconspicuous, Tyrion?
I've had my moments. I did escape to Winter, so I guess you can have that one.
I'm thinking what we do is we attempt the peaceful entrance if they don't let us in just to talk. Would you feel up to the task of maybe getting into their private study?
He thinks for a bit. Is this for the is this for the good of the investigation?
Yeah, I wouldn't ask otherwise.
Then I believe morally it is fine that I can do it. I have broken into a couple of places, but this one has shady all over it, so I'll be willing to do it.
Be very careful. The power I have here is insignificant to the Markhams.
I know. Do not worry. I've had my moments. I will do my best not to be seen. I'm not some amateur. Hopefully.
Okay.
So Tyrion is going to make an attempt to...
Not now.
We were gonna go to the door and ask politely if they say no to just talking to them. Then we were gonna be like, "Hey, Tyrion, hop the gate."
Yeah, I'm not going to. Yeah, I'm not going to be with them when the peaceful talk. Cause I'll be like by the sides, like hiding a bit, but I'll try to listen and like whatever they're saying peacefully. And yeah, so they can do the peaceful talk, and I'll wait for when they need me.
All three of you, I presume, are going to head over. And so the Van Markhams, like I said, very important family. Their estate is ginormous. It's got very topiary garden of sorts that has, bushes that have been sculpted to look like various menagerie of animals and things of that nature. There are statues upon statues decorating up and down this estate. And the architecture itself is gorgeous and beautiful. The entire estate is surrounded by some sort of iron gated fence. And when you arrive at the gate, I'm going to say that there's going to be some guardsmen who are there to greet you, and one of the guardsmen will say, "State your business."
Yes. My name is Russo Alren. I wish to interview with a certain Janice von Markham.
They will say, "For what purpose?"
Yes. My apologies. I should have said this outright. I'm an acting law speaker of Navarin law. A case that I'm working on that's going to court very soon brought up Van Markham's name, and I wish to get their story.
Very well. Hold on one moment, and the guard will leave, and you'll wait for a few moments, and then he will return back, and he said, "I'm sorry, Mr. Alren, but the master has actually already spoken to a council person, and that person has been advised not to speak to anyone else from the law without their presence, without that council person's presence."
Would it be possible to get this council here?
Says, "I can see if that will be an arrangement that can be made. What if my master says no?"
I will respect their wishes and proceed with what I have.
The guard will nod. He will leave again. He will return back, and he says, "I'm sorry, Mr. Russo, but that is a no from the master."
Okay, well, thank you for your help. Have a nice night, gentlemen.
Pasha looks like she wants to say something, but I think she's also kind of like, this is Russo's job. I don't want to embarrass him while he's at work, but I want to speak.
I feel like we would have like a hand signal thing that I can give you, like, okay, this didn't work.
Yeah. I'm making the Shadows alleyway, got my hood up right now. As I got my cloak.
I'm gonna give the pre-advised signal to Tyrion that we got nowhere. You're gonna have to go through the back.
Cloak up. I'm gonna grab with my tools in my hand currently, and yeah, make my way to the back door, if there even is one.
Yeah. You're going to make your way around. And Tyrion, I'm just going to mention that as you are trying to discreetly get around to the back, I guess, of the estate, relatively close by, they are next to a square of some sort, because the estate is overseeing that square. Very beautiful view. The festival has come in full force, and there seems to be a lot of revelry going on. A lot of citizens are enjoying some music and food and dancing. And you actually notice that on a stage is that purple belly dancer as well. And even though you're trying to be discreet, she seems to still be able to notice you, and you make eye contact for just a brief moment. And I don't know if you break eye contact, but she seems to continue lingering, like her eyes seems to still linger on you as you're walking by.
I just walk by. Says, "You have a job to do. Turn, get to it. Speak to her later, damn it." And I'm gonna try and essentially I'm gonna be stealthing through this as I make my way to the back door, pop the fence and whatever's needed. So, yeah.
Yeah. Roll me a stealth, please.
Alrighty, good. Let's hope this works out well. Wow. Okay, that is a 12, 13. That's 20. 6 stun points.
Nice. Wow. Okay.
Go Tyrion.
Well, go Tyrion. 6 stun points. Okay. This is actually gonna be pretty cool. So roll me. Okay, I'm gonna say you can get to the back very easily without being seen, other than by that very pretty dancer.
Yeah.
But now let's see if you could roll me a lock picking.
This is gonna be a straight dexterity roll, but I do have my thievery skill, so if I f up, I can reroll. Actually, I doubt that's gonna be needed. That's a 21 with 5.
Oh my goodness.
I've picked the right people for the job.
So Tyrion, you will be, again, this estate is, because they are such a rich family, they have a lot of security.
Oh hell yeah!
But somehow Tyrion, you're able to be able to pick any of the locks that you come to with great skill. Far better skill than whoever broke into Russo's.
Tyrion's just like, I'll show those amateurs, even though they have no idea about me.
I've done this way more than them.
Yes. And once you make your way into the estate, there seems to be a lot of not commotion. There seems to be a lot of activity going on. Many of the servants, who are elves, actually, you don't know if they're slaves necessarily, but they're certainly the help.
Yeah, servants.
Are bustling about. You can smell food. There seems to be a ballroom of some sort with like a grand chandelier, very like Disney's Beauty and the Beast grand chandelier, and there seems to be some sort of dance going on. There's like a live band. It's actually a masquerade party of some sort, and so they've got these masks right now, and I'm actually going to say that based on what you're wearing, Tyrion, maybe you might find like a mask that accidentally fell on the ground, which you could pick up and sort of blend in to the crowd, and probably actually would benefit you to not be sneaking around, but actually just walking around like you belong there, and nobody seems to really notice you very much.
Yeah, I keep the hood up. I have this kind of almost this mask that covers most of the face, if that's alright, or like more of a eyes and mouth. But I keep my hood up so the elves aren't seen, and I will try and. I imagine Russo would have told me what he wants beforehand.
Yeah. What does Russo want him to do when he's in there?
I basically want him to find like Janice's closest thing to a study or private room and find like any proving of like this underhanded dealing.
Yeah. So, what I'll do is I will try and scout around the place, like kind of just scout up. And try to see if there's any like study room. Maybe I might pick up something as I'm going by. If there's like people might gossip about like his private studies, his collection, and of secrets and all that. So
yeah, you can. I think you'll be able to easily do that. And while you're trying to gather all this information, you actually spot a person of the description of the Duke, and it's. To be perfectly honest, it's really hard to miss him because he is very ostentatiously dressed as the person who is probably throwing this party. He seems to be speaking with this woman who is dressed in a I'm going to say that she's dressed in dressy but professional looking clothing, it's going to be a long shot, but go ahead and roll a heraldry.
Cunning heraldry
for me.
Alrighty.
Cunning heraldry, yeah. Just.
All right, let's find out. 12 with 2 some points.
Yeah. Roll a hearing. Roll a.
All right. So I forgot I actually have the hearing focus, so this is actually really helpful. Okay, wow, that's 11 with 3 some points. Do I am masquerading it, so I don't know if they'll help out.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that you'll at least be able to overhear the person's name that the Duke is speaking to. The person's name is Myrna, Myrna. Myrna.
M-Y?
Myrna. Myrna is the person's name. But you're not going to be able to hear their actual conversation. You have no idea what her identity is. She does look kind of important too, just as an FYI.
Okay, I'll probably I'll keep this noted up.
It's up to you if you want to stay to overhear the conversation, or if you don't think it's important enough to stay. That's up to you.
How professional does she look? Does she look like of a high class Is the
I would
first
say
thing.
so.
And
I would say so.
okay,
She's dressed similarly to a Mortalitasi, actually, but seems a lot more higher tiered.
Yeah, okay.
Higher tiered.
And secondly, how are they? How is like the conversation? Are they seem to be like friends or acquaintances or?
They seem more acquaintances than friends.
Okay, I will try and like kind of get close, but not like too close enough. I'll try to like so I'll walk around like I said, and keep hearing. Try to at least grab something. Maybe might be important.
Okay. Roll me one more hearing, one more perception hearing.
Much better. That is a 17 with 4 stun points. Wow, I'm getting all the stun points today. Jesus Christ.
Okay. So the thing that you're picking up, you find out that Myrna is something that's called a Morn Watcher. The Morn Watchers have absolute authority over funerary and the dead, and yes, they are the ones that are most like they have the most experience in the necropolis. And the Duke is just asking a lot of questions of Myrna, just general questions about her job, and maybe some asking stories about the necropolis itself, and how they actually do some of the rites, the funeral rites, and things of that nature. So it doesn't seem like there's necessarily anything related to the case. And then there might be like a name drop here. I think at some point the Duke mentions the name Lord Penric Karn. But other than that, you don't really pick up anything else of seemingly value.
Got you. I'm gonna then after like that, like I just stop doing that so it doesn't lead to anything, and I'll go back to find the study.
Yeah. So again, with your amazing stealth, I'm just gonna say you'll be able to get to the study without being seen.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to look and rummage through the study, feel free to roll me a what would that be to search? Study.
There's a perception searching.
So, yeah, that's good. Perception searching.
Okay,
Let's do it.
not the best one, but let's give it a try. 13. I know what I'm looking for at least, so
Roll. I'll give you an advantage.
okay,
Go ahead.
Better do that, but let's find out. Nope, it's still 13.
Okay. I'm gonna say you're gonna rummage through. You'll probably find some documents hidden somewhere. Maybe in like a secret compartment in his desk, for example. That is addressed to him, mentioning Audric Felhausen, actually. And the documents basically are explaining to him about what this person needs. So there seems to be some sort of agreement formed between Duke and this other person who didn't like give them their name is nowhere on this document. And basically he's like saying, I need you to contact the Winters about this theft. Have them approach Audric about this theft, and if you do this, then our agreement will be sealed. Like, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. There's an implication that Duke is not just doing this for himself, he's also doing this for this other person, and the Duke will get something back if he does this.
And there's no mention of whoever this second person is, correct?
Yeah, not with a 13. You will not be able to find any identifying things about this other person.
Okay. I'm going to pull out, I imagine, like a notebook, and I'll write all this down, and anything else. I'm gonna, unless there's any movement. Is there any windows actually around here, just to be sure?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
I would say there's a window, but I would also think that his study actually is on the second floor, so you can't. I mean, you could just hop out. I guess,
hop
from the second
out,
floor.
but it's, I'll break my bones maybe, but unless I can.
But they also, But there's also, what do you call those things?
Trellis?
Like the things that the vines... Trellis, yes, trellis, thank you. There's also trellis as well that you can climb. I think that happened in Dragon Age Inquisition during the Orlais scene. But
I think so, yeah.
Trespasser.
I'm going... Yeah. I'm also making sure the door is locked. Like, just locked, so there's anyone clicks in. I'll have the window readied to be opened, and I'm just going to continue rummaging through. I'm going to continue searching through anything else, because I still have the time for now until I have to jump off. So, yeah. So,
okay.
Continue rummaging. And I'm trying to making sure everything is, like, discreet. So...
Good. Well, in order to put the office back in order, roll me, I guess stealth. Roll me a stealth for that. To put the office back in order the way you found it.
16 with some points.
Eventually, you are going to hear somebody at the door trying to unlock it. Trying to unlock the study door.
Shit. And I'll immediately, get to the window, open it silently, close it back quietly, and then I'll just climb down, and I'll do it quickly as fast as I can.
Right. Roll me, dexterity... acrobatics, I guess.
Okay.
Followed by a strength climbing.
Right.
There's no climbing. Yeah,
There
there's
is
climbing.
Yeah. Strength climbing, yeah. Crap then.
Dexterity, acrobatics, and strength climbing.
Alright,
yes.
so dexterity acrobatics is just straight dexterity then. That's 17 with the dexterity acrobatics. And
Nice.
then I have the fire bonus, because I'm from fire, so that's strength
Yes.
plus 1.
Yep.
The climbing, I get a 13 with 13. Just 13.
Okay. Yeah. So you will be able to make it out there in time before anyone spots you, and you'll be able to climb down without injuring yourself.
Yeah. I take off the mask also just to put in my backpack, which I'll actually keep in my inventory now that I have a mask. And that will be fucking helpful in the future.
Yeah, you do.
Alrighty, and I go out. I'm gonna leave the property, and at some point I transition from the alleyway, and I'm gonna take off the cloak
Sure.
and meet up with Russo and Pasha.
Okay. What happens?
I think as you're coming up, Pasha's probably saying to Russo, "We could have taken those guys.
Pasha,
If you
that's
kick
too
up enough,
much.
if you kick up enough fuss, someone will come out to deal with you. I've learned this."
Yes, but the person coming to deal wouldn't give me answers. They just start a fight.
Can I make a joke? I'm gonna be stealthing behind them as we're walking. Don't know that. So I'll just kind of quietly say, "What are you two arguing about now?" From behind them.
Hello, Tyrion.
Not arguing, just a friendly discussion about the merits of kicking up a fuss.
Sounds like an argument to me, though. Still.
You're not wrong, Pasha. Just time and place. This wasn't it. Okay, Tyrion. What do you find?
Well, first things first. The information we're looking for, at least. Apparently, the Duke has actually been the one who's contracted, as far as I know, or marqueed the Winters.
Okay.
If I'm correct, but it seems he's doing it from someone else. Someone else actually wanted this to be done, not the Duke.
They just didn't want themselves involved.
Yes. Unfortunately, I could not find the name. That was very well hidden, it seems. So, but we at least know that the Duke is not working alone, and there's someone else involved in this whole story. But there does seem to be some sort of theft that happened. Was it a lawful theft by any chance, or was it was illegal theft, or was it more like a hash up by the Hark?
So, none of you yet have been able to discover what the details of this theft is. You don't know what was stolen. You don't know how it was supposedly stolen. So you don't have. Russo doesn't have that information yet.
All right.
Yeah.
Check to be sure. That's all the documentation I could find here. I have it here written down. I kind of wrap out a little book and I hand them the information I've written down.
Okay, anything else of note that you saw in there?
Well, there was a party going on, so you two are probably lucky you didn't have to kick down a door or whatever.
No one wants people interrupting their parties. We could have. I'll drop it.
Next time, Pasha, I swear.
Next time we can go kicking down doors and kicking asses and taking names when we
Be
fight.
careful, I'll hold you to that.
Sure. The other thing I found, well, I don't know if it's important to the case, but it's just something to keep notes. Apparently, Duke has been speaking to a woman named Myrna. She's one of the Mourn Watchers.
I'm gonna say without even rolling that Russo knows who Myrna is.
Ooh,
She is.
This rabbit hole just got much deeper.
So there was that. She was there, speaking to him in the front, and they talked about. He was asking questions about the funeral rites and things about the Moon Watcher, their duties.
Any specific situation brought up?
Would I remember any specific situation they were talking about, or
Nothing that at the moment feels like it has any connection to this case yet. Not that you
heard
recall.
Pendrick Karn. I don't know.
Oh yeah, Pendragon. Yeah, I'm going to mention that.
You heard, remember, yeah, that name.